Hi, this is Stacy Lee Spahn, and this is my presentation on Cultural Challenge. And the culture that I chose to speak about today is the transgender veteran population. And a transgender is a person whose gender identity is different from the person's assigned or biological sex. And there are currently approximately 5,000 transgender veterans receiving their health care from the VA. This is from the Veterans Health Administration, and these numbers are from 2017. The challenges. So there are multiple challenges, and we're going to review each one separately. So when has culture been a factor in care of a patient or colleague? Working as a healthcare provider with the Veterans Administration, it's actually almost like a cultural event every day. I have worked at several different VA locations, and there is always a large amount of cultural diversity among the veterans and the staff that I work with. Was I aware of the influence of culture in the care of the patient at this time? My first exposure to caring for a transgender veteran was actually while working on the inpatient rehab area for PTSD and drug and alcohol rehab at the VA in Wisconsin, and that was in 2014. So this was actually my first experience interacting and caring for a transgender veteran. Did I become aware of the influence of culture after I cared for the patient following a reflective moment? I became aware of the culture being in existence for a far longer period than I was aware of. Actually, if you go back and do some research on the culture, there's so much interesting information available dating back to the 1960s and moving forward. I became aware of the negative attitudes held by veterans and the staff towards this cultural group while working in this environment. I also became aware that the protocols for care of this population were very ambiguous. The lesson from my reflective moment was that I would provide quality, caring, compassionate care to this cultural group. I asked questions when appropriate to better understand the medical and mental health needs for the transgender population. Was there a specific event that brought about awareness? Yes, there was definitely. I had a transgender female that was assigned to a single bathroom, as females within the VA system on the floor, they share the floor with the males, so they do not share a bathroom with the male veterans. This was standard care on the unit for female veterans. What was the event that occurred? I had a female veteran that was sharing the bathroom with a transgender female veteran, and she did not believe that it was appropriate that she should have to share the bathroom with the transgender veteran. So it became a very difficult situation. The reflection. Multiple things involved in the reflection. Uh, this was really interesting because this event really very quickly took on a life of its own. A majority of the veterans on the unit at the time believed that they should share their opinions. It became obvious that the other veterans and the coworkers that I worked with were uncomfortable with the situation. I actually ended up I spent quite a bit of time talking to the veteran and learning about her transition from male to female. She shared experience about how strangers reacted to her, how her family and community behaved towards her, and about the medical treatments during the process of her change. This was certainly not an experience I had encountered within my culture when growing up in central Wisconsin. Spiritually, my belief is that we all have a mission in this world and that we are all different for a reason, and that those differences make life worth living and actually provide us with so many learning experiences. Unfortunately, what I learned is that many of my coworkers and other veterans were narrow-minded and hateful. It brought the needs of this cultural group to my attention. And as a non member of LGBT, when I came to the Southern VA, it was very important to me to participate. So I joined the LGBT committee for the Southern Nevada VA. I've been active in the LGBT committee activities within the Las Vegas community, to include the annual Pride Parade and Festival. In fact, for the last 3 years, I have actually participated in the Pride, helped set it up, and also participated in functioned quite actively in the festival. What was confirmed from the experience for me was that the nurse and the advanced practice nurses, we are really ethically responsible to provide caring, competent, and compassionate care to all members of society, regardless of culture. And here my references are available. If you'd like to check any of them out, there's actually some really good resources that do discuss the transgender population and how they are treated within the VA. And something that I thought was really important to share was that I was able to locate the Veterans Health Administration Transgender Healthcare Directive. And in this directive, it states that VA staff are to provide care to transgender patients without discrimination, consistent with the care and management of all veteran patients. So this means that I give the same care to a transgender patient that I would to any other patient. It clearly states that all personal information about transgender status and medical care is kept confidential. In fact, many times when caring for transgender patients, unless you're really um, looking through the chart for something specific, it really doesn't jump right out at you. A lot of times it's because the patient, the veteran themselves, actually shares the information with you. And contrary to what some people think, sex reassignment surgery cannot be performed by or paid for by the VA at this time. But all other medically necessary health care for transgender veterans is covered, including sex-specific care like mammograms and pap smears, as well as transition-related care such as hormones and mental health issues. And this, you will see, some of our veterans will be assigned to a women's health clinic, and they may also have a separate primary care provider. So I'd just like to say thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation, and I hope that it was informative for you.